Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks. Happy 2024, y'all. I hope you had a really good holiday season, because we're back in it. Now, for today's video, I'm going to bring to you the results for AEW World's End, in which I wish I was at. That sounded like a great show. And New Japan Pro Wrestling's Wrestle Kingdom, which we'll get into that. And then I'll also go over a bit more of an in-depth recap of, the goings-on in pro wrestling this week. Other than Raw, which I actually went to the movies. I went to go see Iron Claw, in which, if you haven't seen that movie and you know the history of this family, bring the tissues. If you haven't seen this movie and don't know the history of this family, buckle up. All I'm going to say. So, we're going to get this started by going down the results for AEW World's End first. So, we got the pre-show matches. First, Willow Nightingale beats Chris Statlander in a Battle of Long Island. Killswitch, the former Luchasaurus, and I hate the name Killswitch, by the way, wins a battle royal for a future shot at the TNT title, and that'll come up during the main show. Spoiler alert. Hook beats Wheeler Yuta for the FTW title in an FTW rules match, in which I guess it's their way to get around ECW rules. So, there's that. In an 8-man tag team match to open the show, we get the runners-up of the Continental Classic in a big old tag match. We got Claudio Castagnoli and Bryan Danielson, in which I am surprised Bryan Danielson didn't make the final, as they team with Mark Briscoe and Daniel Garcia. We'll hear about him in a little bit, as they face Jay Lethal, Brody King, Switchblade Jay White, and Roosh. Blackpool Combat Club, Mark Briscoe and Daniel Garcia picked up the win, and apparently Daniel Garcia picked up the win, in which sounds like he's getting a bit more of a push, in which I'm all for that. Miro beats Andrade El Idolo, as Andrade was betrayed by CJ Perry, aka Lana, who is now back with Miro, which I don't hate, but I don't love it. And also, apparently, this was Andrade El Idolo's last AEW show, as his contract has expired. Rumors are he's going to the WWE and might be in as soon as SmackDown tonight, so keep your eyes peeled. Timeless Toni Storm beat Riho for the AEW Women's title. Sounds like a fun matchup. Swerve Strickland, who originally was supposed to face Keith Lee, sadly the doctors at AEW could not clear Keith Lee, so instead he took on the Natural, Dustin Rhodes, formerly known as Goldust. One of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Swerve picks up the win, and apparently there was some complaining because a lot of people thought Swerve should have squashed Dustin. I personally, I don't agree with that. Next up, another 8-man tag, as we got Sting, Darby Allin teaming up with Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara to take on Ricky Starks, Big Bill, Konosuke Takeshita, and Powerhouse Hobbs of the Don Callis family. And babyfaces win. We're in on the Sting retirement tour. So this is last step before Revolution. Could be interesting. Julia Hart beat Abaddon to retain her TBS title. And apparently, the special stipulation was biting was legal, in which, that's actually kind of funny. I like that. Alright, so this is where things get a little weird. As we got Adam Copeland taking on Christian Cage for the TNT title. Originally, Copeland beat Christian Cage for the title, but then out comes Killswitch, decks him, goes to cash in his title shot, but then Christian Cage is like, give it to me. Give it to me. So then Killswitch gives Christian Cage the shot. Ding, 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 bell rings, winner, Christian Cage. I hate that. That feels very much like a WWE-like move. And as much as I liked Christian Cage with the title, I wouldn't have minded Adam Copeland with at least a decent run and then put someone else over, like maybe, I don't know, Killswitch? I don't know. I think eventually Killswitch is going to turn on Christian Cage and he'll go back to being Luchasaurus. So we'll see what happens there. Next up, we got Eddie Kingston taking on Jon Moxley in the finals of the Continental Classic. And on the line, the Continental Classic title, which has a crown on it, in which, honestly, I love the design of this title. But also on the line are the Ring of Honor World title and the New Japan Strong Openweight title, in which Eddie Kingston finally gets his big win. And now he's a modern Triple Crown champion, in which, congratulations, Mr. Eddie Kingston. And Fine a Mo, our main event for AEW World's End, as MJF defends his AEW World title against Samoa Joe. And surprise, surprise, Joe beats him via the submission. But then Joe rolls right out of the ring. The Devil minions come in, holding Cole, holding MJF. Looked like they're going to hit Adam Cole with a chair. Lights go out. Lights come back on. Cole is sitting in the chair, and he brings out the Devil mask. And then the minions unmask. It's Matt Taven and Mike Bennett of the Kingdom, Roderick Strong, who has been an associate of them, and Wardlow, who desperately needs a rebuild. So, we got the Devil reveal, we got a new world champion, and may the bidding war of 2024 begin. It's going to be an interesting one. 2024, so keep your eyes open. So that was AEW World's End. We now roll right into Wrestle Kingdom, which was earlier the other night, considering it was in Japan, so it was on at like 6 in the morning for us over here on the East Coast. So, we got the results of this show. One pre-show match, which is odd, but it makes sense because it is the New Japan Rambo, in which the winner gets a shot at the King of Pro Wrestling title earlier today, honestly. So, and apparently the match stops at 4 people, which then they have a match later on. So our winners for this match, the Great Okan, Taiji Ishimori, former 2-time champion Toru Yano, and Yo. So we'll see what happens there. Next up, we got a tag team match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight titles. As Catch-22, that's TJP and Francisco Akira, representing the United Kingdom. United Empire. That's what their names are. As they take on Drilla Maloney and Clark Connors of the Bullet Club War Dogs, in which Akira and TJP pick up the victory and the titles. Next up, Hiroshi Tanahashi defeats Zack Sabre Jr. for the New Japan World TV title. So Zack Sabre Jr. loses the title belt. That's interesting. Yuya Uemura, former Impact guy, on Excursion, beats Yota Tutsi. I hope I am pronouncing that name right. Kind of a battle of the futures. That sounds awesome. House of Torture, boo, being represented by Evil and Ren Narita, beat Shota Umino and Kitagayo there is no way I can pronounce that. He's a former Noah guy. He's been hanging out in New Japan recently. Next up, Tama Tonga defeats Shingo Takagi for the Never Openweight title. And apparently at the end of the month, Tonga's New Japan contract expires. So, another free agent coming down the line. Next up, winner takes all tag match for the IWGP tag titles and the Strong Openweight tag titles, as El Phantasmo and Hikuleo defeat Bishamon, that's Hiroki Goto, and Yoshihashi. So, very interesting goings on. El Desperado beat Hiromu Takahashi for the Junior Heavyweight title. And actually, during the tag match, we got an interesting pair coming around, as Nick and Ryan Nemeth sat ringside. Now, if you don't know who those are, Nick Nemeth is the former Dolph Ziggler of WWE. His contract is expired, his 90-day no compete is up, and now he's allowed to go wherever he wants. And I will say, New Japan is an interesting place for him. Now, he and his brother didn't get involved in the tag match, but they did get involved kind of in this next match, as David Finlay beat Will Ospreay and Jon Moxley for the new IWGP Global Heavyweight title, replacing the UK/United States title. And honestly, it's not a bad looking belt. Anyway, post-match, Finlay gets in the face of Nick Nemeth, and then they just brawl. So, looks like we're getting Nick Nemeth versus David Finlay in the near future. Who would have thought we would get to see that? Next up, Kazuchika Okada beat Bryan Danielson. So they're each one apiece. We'll see when the third match in this series happens. And Fine Alamo for the IWGP Heavyweight title. Tetsuya Naito beats champion Sanada, in which, honestly, very big surprise there. Naito definitely deserves it. And, yeah, we'll see where we go from here. So, yeah, that is it for Wrestle Kingdom. We now move right into the weekly roundup, which today we are going to start with NWA Power. No Raw this week. I was actually at the movies. Saw Iron Claw, like I said. So, we are starting off with Power, in which we start off with Joe Alonzo taking on Alex Misery. And, yeah, this was a very, very fun cruiserweight style matchup. Not a ton of diving, but enough to satiate my appetite. And then after an axe handle, a game over, your winner, Joe Alonzo. We then go right into a Miss Star interview, a Samantha Star. Pretty much going over, I've been the face of this business for a while. Both my parents are second generation superstars. I was born to be NWA Women's Champion, and it's gonna happen next week. She then addresses her need for an assistant, and yeah, that's kind of all we got. So we'll see where that relationship goes. Next up, we got a triple threat match where the winner gets a shot at the national title. We got Anthony Katana, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Storm Thomas, and Magic Jake Domas. And yeah, this was definitely a lot of fun. I had a good back and forth between the three of them. But ultimately, after the abracadabra, your winner, Magic Jake Domas. So, he's getting a title shot in the near future. We then go to the weirdest part of the show, as it's the Austin Idol tribute. Apparently he had a lot of time in Florida, putting on shows in the 80s, etc. Bring out Bobby Fulton, says hello diddly about Idol. This brings out Austin Idol. Says, pleasure to be back in Florida. Before he can say anything else, out comes NWA owner William Patrick Corgan. And he's out with Nicole Graham, who is the granddaughter, I believe, of superstar Billy Graham, which, definitely a big name. Then Nicole presents a plaque to Austin Idol. And Austin Idol, with a great reply, pretty much says, I've been in this business for 50 years, and all you can get me is a cheap plaque? Out of everything you could get me a nice Rolex, a nice car, nice bit of alcohol. And instead, you get me this cheap plaque. Who do you think I am? And then before you can continue, they go to a commercial, which, nice little call off, pisses off Austin Idol in just the right way. Let's see what we got going on here. Next up, we got a backstage interview with Mike Knox and Trevor Murdoch, with Trevor Murdoch pretty much saying, look, I'm tired of all this. What I did out there doesn't excuse my actions, but I'm sorry for what I did, but enough is enough. And at the end of the day, this is the Murdoch you're getting. Then Mike Knox pipes on, pretty much says, yeah, there's some weird stuff going on. We're going to step up to the country gentlemen, and next week it's going to be bad time for you. So, nice little build to that tag team match. Speaking of tag team matches, we got the tag team titles on the line as BFT takes on the Fixers. It's been a while since I've seen the Fixers wrestle, and yeah, this was pretty much a tag team hoss fight. Like, I wouldn't say they worked perfectly together, but they worked well enough for a half-decent big guy versus big guy wrestling match. End of the day, Fixers look like they're about to seal the deal. Aaron Stevens up on the apron, causing the distraction. Damage with a big old drop kick, which that gets me every time, to pick up the win. So a win off of a drop kick. Don't see that much anymore. But yeah, it looks like we got another team that has issues with blunt force trauma. And hopefully we get some sort of resolution this time, because I'm kind of getting tired of BFT shenanigans. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand what they're doing here. They're trying to make them smart eating heels. And then whoever overcomes this will feel like a bigger deal. So, I understand where they're coming from with these matches, but you gotta mix it up a little bit. So that was NWA Power. We then go to AEW Dynamite. We get a short Samoa Joe backstage promo where he pretty much says, not many people, I'm not a person to make predictions, but I'm a man that keeps his promises. MJF, you know what to do to me. I got my revenge. I turned everyone you loved against you, and I took everything dear to you. While you may be a scumbag, I'm a heartless SOB, and I will always take what's mine. I'm the champ now, and it's going to take everything from everyone who tries to take this from me. So, nice little intense promo from the new champion. We'll see where we go from here. We then get a promo from not just Adam Cole, but from the rest of the Undisputed Kingdom. So that's Taven, Bennett, Roderick Strong, and Wardlow. Pretty much, going down what happened at World's End. Pretty much saying MJF is Cole saying MJF is a narcissist. He only cares about himself. And like most in the locker room see, it was time for a change. MJF is, and you've got me to thank because of that. MJF is gone and he's never coming back. And MJF would have done the same to me if you were in my shoes. And Cole didn't need MJF. MJF needed Adam Cole. It was because of me why you ended up cheering him, and better than you, baby, got as hot as they did. And MJF is dead, and I'm very much alive. And as for the rest of the Undisputed Kingdom, Bennett and Taven are the Ring of Honor Tag Champs. Roderick Strong is going after the International title, which, that could be interesting. And Wardlow, you're going after the AEW World title. But then once I'm healed up, Wardlow's going to do the right thing, relinquish the title to me. So, we got a nice little idea of the goals for this group, and honestly, I love the name. Well, I wouldn't say I love it, but I'm okay with it. Cole pretty much finishes up. We were sick and tired of waiting for change, so we changed things ourselves. And the devil is here to stay, baby. So, nice little promo from then. Then out comes Switchblade Jay White. Pretty much thinking, I understand. I understand what you guys are doing, but if you remember, I was your first victim, and I'm coming out here to get a little revenge. He starts up the ramp, and he brings out Austin and Colton Gunn. Sadly, Juice Robinson is still hurt. Get well soon. Wardlow then quickly gets Adam Cole out of the ring, and Bullet Club Gold and Undisputed Kingdom start brawling. Wardlow gets back in to get the numbers in their favor. But then in making this save is the Acclaimed, who were also victims of the devil, and they run off the Undisputed Kingdom. And then Acclaimed, Bullet Club Gold, they face off. Crowd is looking for some scissoring action, which Bullet Club Gold pretty much is like, yeah, no. And they leave. So, Yeah, we definitely got a pretty interesting feud going forward. Maybe even for their trios titles, in which, I love the Acclaimed, but they've needed something interesting to come along, and maybe it's Bullet Club Gold. So, next up, we got a nice little backstage promo from World's End, from Eddie Kingston. Pretty much going through the highlights of his path in the tournament, with him pretty much saying, this tournament, if I can take anything from this tournament, it'd be one thing. It gave me all the confidence in the world. I've beaten the best. I've beaten Claudio. I've beaten Danielson. But the best part was beating Jon Moxley for that Triple Crown. And it's going to take someone special to beat me. So, that's going to be interesting to see where Eddie Kingston goes. Hopefully he has a nice little run with the Triple Crown. Our first match of the evening, in which, that promo went a little bit too long. It is for the international title, as Orange Cassidy takes on Dante Martin. And this match was intense from the get-go. It's great to see Dante Martin back. Orange Cassidy kind of working a little heelish. Maybe not fully heel, but a little bit. I can definitely see it a little bit, especially with all the moves out on the outside. Dante Martin goes for a senton, whiffs Cassidy with an orange punch to pick up the victory. Post-match, Cassidy and Martin shake hands. The rest of their crews come out. They kind of checking on their respective guys. Then from out of nowhere, Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn, a.k.a. Private Party, make their return. And they pretty much call out the entire tag division. They call out Top Flight. They call out Best Friends. They even call out the Hardy Boys. In which, yes, please. So, we're definitely, AEW has definitely needed this injection of talent coming back. And especially in the tag division. Although, don't get me wrong, I love AEW's tag division. It's about time Private Party making a comeback. Next up, we got a backstage interview from Timeless Tony Storm, who gives Renee Paquette a little, overwhelmed by your perfume, which, oh boy, that's funny. Pretty much saying, well, Tony Khan said we'd be in New York, but this isn't New York, it's New Jersey. So, to remedy this, I'm going to go to Manhattan, I'm going to go hit up the clubs, and I'm going to go celebrate my championship retention. She has asked about Mariah May, and about watching her match, with Tony Storm revealing, I don't watch wrestling, how revolting. This character is so good. With Tony pretty much saying, look, she needs to cut her teeth a little bit. So why not do it here in New Jersey? How hard can it be? She then gets picked up by Luther and escorted out. So, no Timeless Tony Storm on watching Mariah May. We'll get to that in a little bit. We then get a little pre-filmed House of Black promo in which they accept FTR's challenge for a match, in which they're going to do it in North Carolina on Collision this Saturday. And if FTR loses, they have to join the House of Black. In which, those are some pretty high stakes. We then get a interesting interview from Swerve Strickland, pretty much saying, look, I'm not overlooking Daniel Garcia tonight. Daniel Garcia is a very good wrestler, but does he realize what he's in for? And I'm going for what I'm going for. Big Pressure isn't about making diamonds for us in the Mogul Embassy. It's about making pain, which is a great line. Joe, I'm coming for you next, so be ready. So, Swerve Strickland definitely staking his claim in the world title picture. That's great. We then go to Mariah May making her in-ring debut to take on Queen Aminata, making her Dynamite debut, I guess. She has definitely wrestled some dark matches on YouTube, in which, rest in peace, AEW Dark, miss ya. This match was pretty, while it wasn't long, it was definitely good. Like, I think each talent got enough in until Mariah May hit the Mayday to pick up the victory. Post-match, Renee Paquette gets in the ring, gives an interview with Mariah ecstatic, pretty much saying, I can't believe it, I won in my debut. I've wanted this since I was a little girl. And I hope tonight Toni Storm is proud. 2024, and it's all about May. My only regret is that this took place in New Jersey. AEW is slagging on Jersey for no reason. But anyway, out comes a debuting Deonna Purrazzo, the virtuosa, making the jump from TNA/Impact to AEW. She gets right on the mic. She pretty much says, sure, you know, I'm from here, but if Toni Storm doesn't want to be here, we don't want you here. Oh, and Mariah, send a message to Miss Storm, will you? It doesn't matter where you hide, I'll find you. And we are now in the age of the virtuosa. Mariah May replies, okay, first of all, I'm not a messenger. Second of all, tell her yourself. And they just start brawling. Nice little introduction to, or should I say reintroduction to Miss Purrazzo for the AEW crowd, because she did make her AEW debut once before. That was as Ring of Honor Women's Champion under the Impact umbrella. She lost it to Mercedes Martinez to complete silence. This had to have been like a year ago. More than a year, actually. So, glad to see she got a great big reaction. And this is a message to Tony Khan. You take really good care of this woman. She is a special talent, and all of us over here at Impact fans, we know it. Anyway, next up, we got a Christian Cage / Patriarchy interview. Nick Wayne's mother goes through her usual catchphrases, which I'm getting a little tired of. With Cage pretty much saying, yeah, it's been a solid 200 days since I won this. It's been a historic run. And Copeland, you and I went to war at World's End. I'd like to thank the Patriarchy, but I'd like to thank someone in particular. Looks to kill switch, and that's myself, for finally putting Adam Copeland to rest. Copeland, this was your last time in going for the my TNT title. you go to the back of the line, and each day you wake up, you're going to realize what I've known all the time, and that's Christian Cage is better than Adam Copeland. And this is a warning to the roster. What happened at World's End was just a preview. I've made the title more important. We are the patriarchy, and we run AEW forever. So, nice little statement from the TNT champion. It's going to be interesting to see who beats Christian Cage, because I got money on a couple of people. Anyway, we then go to a backstage interview with Ruby Soho, Harley Cameron, which is an interesting choice, and Saraya. Saraya pretty much telling Soho, look, Harley is a great fit. Looked how she helped you on Rampage this past week. Ruby Soho pretty much says, look, I appreciate the help. You're right, she was a great tool. Harley's pretty much, I'd do anything for you two. Acting a little crazy. Ruby Soho then leaves. Cameron and then Saraya stay around, with Saraya telling Cameron, look, could you tone that down? She's going to get suspicious. Interviewer tries to get involved, and Saraya's like, no, we're good. We're good. Get out of here. This next matchup, oh boy, if you want a match to watch, this is a really good one, as Konosuke Takeshita takes on Darby Allin. This match was super freaking good. Like, it is a great reminder of just how good Takeshita is. And Darby Allin fighting for his life. Got some couple of comebacks, but ultimately, your winner with the Power Drive Knee, which is a great name for a finisher, Konosuke Takeshita. Post-match, we got a Don Callis family interview. Pretty much saying, next week for the Callis family, we start back up again. Next week, in Daly's place, we challenge Sting and Darby Allin. We're going to bring Takeshita and Hobbs for a match. So, nice little anniversary matchup for match back at Daly's place. The home for AEW during the pandemic. And kind of the home for AEW period, honestly. Next, we got Eddie Kingston out on commentary for this next match, where the winner gets a TNT title shot on Saturday on Collision. So we have Trent Beretta, Brian Cage, Brian Keith, who has been on AEW a lot lately, which I am super happy with, and the AAA Mega Champion, El Hijo del Vikingo. And oh boy, this match was a lot of fun to watch. Like, as a match kind of slapped on the card, this match was a lot of fun. A lot of high flying from Vikingo. Brian Keith showing out a bit. Brian Cage being his usual self. But after a DDT from the middle rope, your winner, Trent Beretta, who's getting the TNT title shot. I'd call that a little bit interesting, and gonna be interesting to see who gets the victory. Oh, wait, no, it's not for the TNT title shot. It's for the Continental Classic Crown title shot. That's what it is. That's why Eddie Kingston was out there. Next, we go backstage. We're about to hear from Daddy Magic Matt Menard. But who should pass by? It's Hangman Adam Page, and he is pissed. And he's pretty much says, look, I don't care who it is. I'm here I'm here to beat you up, beat people up. I don't care if it's you. I don't care if it's Swerve. I don't care if it's Eddie Kingston. Someone give me a reason. So, an intense Hangman Page for sure. Let's see where we go from this. And fine, Alamo, we got our main event of the evening as Swerve Strickland takes on Daniel Garcia. This match pretty much starts straight off. Eventually it goes into the outside. Garcia throws Swerve into the guardrail. And then he turns around for Prince Nana. And they have a little dance-off. Nana doing Swerve Dilatra. And then Garcia pulling his stuff. They go back and forth for a little bit. Swerve tries to jump Garcia from behind, but that ultimately gets countered out of. They get back in the ring and just start wailing on each other again. Swerve with a house call and a Swerve stomp, only for a 2 count, which, that's surprising. Swerve again with another house call, but then goes for the JML driver to pick up the victory. Post-match, Swerve initially extends his hand to Garcia, but then Prince Nana attacks Garcia from behind. They start beating Garcia down. And then who makes the save? Who tries to make the save is Daddy Magic, who's out on commentary. Low blow to him. Start beating him down a little bit too. And then out comes from the back comes Hangman Adam Page. At first, they just kind of have a little stare down. And then they just brawl. This brings out officials to try to break it up, but they just keep it going right after each other to end the show. Now, I'm going to say something that might be a little controversial, but I'm going to say it anyway. This was the best AEW in a long time. Now, I'm not saying Dynamite has been bad, but it's just kind of been okay. Like don't get me wrong. I'm still very entertained by AEW, but it hasn't had that real feeling of it being really, really good. And this was definitely a throwback to Dynamites of old. I hope AEW keeps this feeling from now till, for a while at least. Alright, those are my reviews for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like the video. Comment what you thought about, either of the 2 pay-per-views, of the 2 shows I reviewed. This coming weekend, it's going to be an interesting one. We got SmackDown with Roman Reigns, yay, and Logan Paul, way to show up for work. We got Rampage, which should be interesting. And then we got Collision, which sounds like a big old show. I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. And we're coming up on some interesting shows. We got the TNA reboot at Hard to Kill. Should be a fun one. We got the Royal Rumble coming up. Again, can't go wrong with the Royal Rumble. Except for the one 2 years ago. That one stunk. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed. And until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.